Greetings and salutations, dear strategy fans. Welcome to another Dev Talk. This time about Slaves of Magic. Over here we have Sheeposh, over the creator of Slaves of Magic. And how about you tell us who you are and what Slaves of Magic is?
Well, let's start with a little bit of a Hungarian thing. Actually, our first name is switched out. So we are using Balázs as the primary name which we communicate with each other. So Sheeposh is basically my family name. It's just a little Hungarian.
Okay,
thing
you wrote it to me the other way around.
Hungarian, it is flipped. So the order is flipped, basically.
Well then, welcome aboard, Balázs.
Yeah, and so my name is Sheeposh Balázs, and I'm one of the developers of Slaves of Magic, which is basically, if I just want to say it quickly, it's fantasy XCOM, or that's the high-level concept of it.
I love the description already.
What you need to imagine is that we have no fantasy world with only humans, or at least that's the starting point. And where the player is joining in is that there were an invasion from another realm to this continent.
Okay.
And the problem is that they can use magic. So they are basically introducing magic into this world while they are conquering it, basically. They are masquerading as the old gods, returning to redeem or
So in other words, we're gonna kick Old Father's ass?
Yeah, basically, or at least those who pretend to be those old gods with these magic. So basically, we just take the skiffy settings of plasma weapons and high-tech stuff and replace it with magic. But the basic idea is going to be the same.
Okay, so the basic idea, if I understood it correctly, you start with, I don't know, let's say peasant, normal soldiers with, I don't know, axe and shield, and then the so-called gods comes that are, I don't know, shooting in lightning bolts at you. Interesting concept. Interesting concept. Where was the inspiration coming from for crafting, so to say, a medieval XCOM?
Well, the inspiration is coming from Well, I think we can say two. The inspiration has two parts of it. One is that I personally love the genre. Um, Funny enough, I don't know if you know, but at some point I was very religiously watching Bigger Rush playing Long War. It's a XCOM mode for those who don't know. Very famous.
Mhm.
And uh, basically, I just really love the genre and wanted to give my own spin on it, basically. The fantasy part is, well, I do like to play role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. So I thought, why not try to combine these two elements? And that's basically the inspiration where it came from.
I see, I see. So basically, a lot of influence watching an XCOM content creator and your own, well, fantasy correlations towards Dungeons and Dragons, RPG games. And
Yeah.
I've seen just a few VODs and screenshots so far from Slaves of Magic. I did not dare to hop into it because I wanted the whole expression and experience to be raw and fresh for the people watching the VOD and now with us live. And what I'm curious most about it, when somebody grabs these influences, ideas, dreams of a game, how hard was it to put it together and actually craft a mechanic that works, set for an art style that is fundable, and move forward from there? Was the hardest part for you as a developer, moving forward,
Well,
starting from the idea to the game?
Well, I think one of the hardest part is to actually commit to an idea. Because when you start, you have all of these ideas, this high-level concept, which you just know that they are very important decisions, yet they are not an exact thing. Now, I'm coming from a programmer background, so some computer science background, and most of the time, we have a clear definition of what to implement, and we can have a good idea of what purpose. Why we are implementing such features. It was very different when trying to come up with a good cohesive game that the decisions we make is not so exact. It's because it's more of an art, and it's more of how people perceive it and what kinds of emotions and messages we want to we want the player to feel, basically. And these high-level concepts, defining these high-level concepts is hard. But after you manage to actually convince yourself that you want, I don't know, some feature or some other, you commit to the one of the ideas. It's easier. Implementing stuff is relatively easy. Let's say that. But deciding what to implement and committing to it was always something that took a few restless nights. Let's just say that before managing to convince myself that this will be the decision which we will make.
I think Restless Night is a reoccurring theme, not only from developer side, also from the gamer side, and also from the consumer side.
Well,
We
if
all
you do a
gamers
good
know.
job, I guess.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Talking about good jobs and restless nights and such and such. How replayable do you think you will create Slaves of Magic? Thinking now, I mean, since we have the comparison brought on the table from XCOM, there is a high RNG factor, and also everything is like procedurally generated and different in a way. How far will Slaves of Magic go in that path? Like, how much replayability do you get from there?
I want to. Well, I take a lot of inspiration from Long War mode, which I already mentioned, and XCOM 2 and similar games from the genre, and I kind of morph it together a little bit. So replayability wise, I want to focus on that actually a little bit more than the new reworked XCOM games are. Just to give you an idea of what I mean by that, we will have multiple invasion forces, which you can choose, which will have different strategic AI. So different behavior from how they behave in the campaign map, and different enemy types. And they will be able to mix and match these. So I really want to emphasize replayability, and we will have more of a sandboxy game here.
Okay.
Not that much on a story side of things. So more we will. We will mostly focus on trying to bring sandboxy elements and procedure generation things, which will improve replayability.
I see. So you are more likely going the path of making interesting mechanics, making the game interesting to just replay, try again, fail and error kind of thing. Like try something, fail terribly, the whole crew dies, restart, try it again, make it better, learn from your failures. Yeah. Is there any factor of like lore backgrounds? I mean, we heard that there's some people bringing magic to your realm and they pretend to be wannabe gods. Is there any lore or little story that drives the whole thing forward, or is it just to give you a little bit of context and then you just go ham on the
story?
Yeah,
the story itself will be taking the back seat. Mostly, it will be told in like in environmental details and some minimal story beats, which like the general goal of the game, which will be to take down the enemy holy city, which is floating. That will be the end goal of the game. But how do you reach that point will be very open-ended and admittedly not story heavy.
I see.
So if we want to make a comparison, I would say in this regard it would be closer to the original XCOM experience. So there will be science notes which you can read, and it gives some background when you are researching and stuff like that. But we don't have but we will probably not have cutscenes or anything of the sort.
That's totally fine. I definitely like the approach. Please tell me that you can, I don't know, build a trebuchet and catapult yourself up on the flying city as an approach.
We might see. Well, we have not fully decided yet on how the final mission will go. So
I mean,
I
how
will
long is the
write
game
it
in
up as an
production?
option.
Thank you, Cuddly.
We will see.
How long is
I
Slaves
can't
of
promise
Magic in
it.
production already?
Sorry?
How long is Slaves of Magic in production already?
Well, 2.5 years, I think. But basically, a lot of it was iterating. There were a very old, we have released a very old demo like 1 year ago, or maybe even, I don't remember exactly when, but we took the feedback from it and really worked hard on improving and reworking stuff that just didn't feel right in the first combat demo which we made. So basically we tried out I think generally 3 types of combat system. We cycled through a lot of styles. UI changed at least like 7 times or something. So there was a lot of iterations which went on to create basically the core experience which you will see in the demo when we will try it out.
Oh, I can't wait.
So,
I can't wait to try that.
Hopefully, you will be the judge of that, but hopefully we are happy with the direction and the basic state of this demo. So after this big event and listening to the feedback, our other big core focus will be to flesh out the campaign part of the game.
Well, I can wait to see how it plays, and I can wait to see what we have in store here on Slaves of Magic. Chad brought something funny up. They said, since it's XCOM inspired, will we have the game approach of 95% chance to hit because you're standing right in front of him and you miss?
Sure. But to be fair, it happens a lot more in Slaves of Magic because in the fantasy setting, combat is a lot more melee focused.
Of course.
So. And because of that, just that you are standing in front of an enemy, that actually going to give you worse hit chance by default, except if you are flanking the unit, which means is you are attacking from behind.
Well, I can't wait to explore the mechanics and how it plays. And since we're talking about mechanics again, I would like to know, will you consider going into early access with the title? Do you want to completely finish it and present it as a 1.0 finished product, and here we are? And and what is the most proudest thing, or what are you the most proud of from creating Slaves of Magic, where you're like, oh, we did this. This is amazing. We've managed to make it happen. So,
okay, so
early access, and what's your private thing?
Yeah, for the first question, we want to continue with our mantra of fail faster. It's a bit of a strange idea, but the idea is that if we have something wrong or something that just doesn't work, we should fail faster, which means we should notice it faster so that we can fix it sooner. That means we are definitely wanting to have feedback on the game as it is developed. In what way we are going to do that is not yet decided. We might go on the early access route, or we could do limited time beta access. It depends on what is more beneficial for us at the given point. So that's not decided yet, but something will be for sure, because we are interested about the players' feedback.
And I think that basically shapes the game, because they are the people who are playing it. And if they feel at home and have fun playing it, then they definitely will grab it, tell their friends, share it, and, well, you know, sales goes up.
Yeah, well, that's the dream. I don't accept. Let's just say I don't want to be that optimistic, but yes, we want to make it as good as we are capable of doing. So,
And
let's hope there are enough people enjoying it that
I definitely think so. The genre itself has a lot of fans, and especially combined with medieval, I don't really know of somebody trying to go that approach. There's some kind of bridges and similarities here and there that I've saw, but none really went into going ham on medieval and like close to close combat. I'm super curious to see how you guys pulled it off and how it plays out. But to the last question, what is the thing you're most proud of so far in the production of Slaves of Magic?
Well, you need to understand that I'm coming from a programmer standpoint in that.
What is that supposed to mean?
Personally, the reason why I warn you of that is because it's actually not a gameplay feature, but a modding feature. I am the way the skills are set up in a way that you can edit them in JSON files, so basically in a text file. If you go into the files of the game, basically you could add new skills right now into the game. Of course, it's not explained how. I will need to make a wiki about it someday, but that's the system we are using as well to create the skills easily and fastly into the game, as we are expecting to implement a lot of skills. So
in other words, basically you're saying you just crafted an easy way to, as you said, mold content within the game. And
yes, basically, and not just the skills. The AI itself is completely exposed through JSON files as well. You can, if you create a new skill, you can create a new enemy type. You can add the new skills you made to that enemy and set the AI all in a few JSON files. So basically, from a programmer standpoint, I find it kind of neat, and it is useful as basically from the ground up it was made to support modding if there will be an interest of that. If not, at least it helped my own work. So
always, moddability is always something that brings long livability to a game, in my opinion. I mean, look at, I don't know, Skyrim. It's, 10 years old, 12 years old, and people are still going crazy about that game and playing like madmen and creating bazillion of mods to keep on playing.
That's one of the reasons why I wanted to focus on replayability, as basically if you just finished all of the invasion types and stuff like that, you can easily create your own or download someone else's invasion plan, basically. So I do hope that this will in the long run give some longevity for the game.
Definitely. Chat says enemy _ damage equals false.
You can do that as well. It won't be too hard, but You can,
Who needs God mode?
if that's what you are looking for.
That is boring. But talking of modes and games, I would say let's hop into the game. We're gonna grab it bit by bit, and you're gonna guide us through it. And let me
Sure.
hop over here. Slaves of Magic. There we go. Just checking if everything shows. Double checking. There we go. Yay, perfect. So let us go from top left to top right. What we see, what is going on here?
Well, yep. What everyone can see is the campaign map. In the demo, it only functions as basically just a nice window dressing, as you will not be able to start the timer on it, but you can see that there will in the top left corner there will be resources. We will have smiths, scholars. These are basically the engineers and scientists of Xcom equivalent.
Okay.
Some magic dust, adamantine, and supplies which will function as the currency of the game, basically. On the
Let's start
top middle part of it, yeah. This is just basically the way you can go around from the different menus. Where the second and the third is not active. The fourth is the barrack.
Okay.
There you can manage your units. In the demo, you have a preset team, which you just saw, but you can recruit different units. And there are different research for the engineering and the science side of things. The research which are in it is just placeholders, just to see what to expect in the game, but they are, as I said, a little bit of window dressing for this demo itself.
Totally fine. Just to give an idea of and a vibe of feeling, and I'm already a sucker of this. If I decide what kind of weaponry they will try to find out how to smith them and make them better, and then see that happening on the battlefield. And if you go, for example, I mean, even though it's placeholder, you said runesmithing, and then if I can see when I go back on the battlefield that my character's sword is actually having glowing runes on it and stuff like that, where you like start as a let's say a peasant with some leather armor and then some I don't know, a pitchfork, and then end up with a shield with embedded runes on it, and it's kind of glowing a little bit, the runes, and gives you this visual kind of progress that you're creating.
Yes, we will definitely want to replicate this feeling what you are talking about. So yes.
Good. Back on the map. What do we see? Here's a reminder that is from the demo. Then bottom left is, I guess, the timer to start and do. What are these settlements with their life bars?
The settlements themselves are basically the regions of this game. Every settlement is a territory, and there are larger regions they inhabit. That's the yellow line of the map. Right now, again, they are mostly just window dressing, but the health bar will represent every territory's loyalty to the cause.
Okay.
Basically.
As for example, up here is violet and empty.
Yep.
I guess.
That basically means that they completely lost faith in the resistance. That territory is basically in enemy control, and they will not provide any kind of supply to the resistance.
Can you capture it back or like uplift their belief in you?
Yes, there will be ways to uplift and take back territories, though probably that will be possible in the medium or late game. So not in the beginning, but there later on in the game there will be a possibility to actually attack and take back these cities and regions.
Oh, and this is the floaty city that you talked about that is so fancy shining.
Yes, that is the command center of the invading forces. The basic idea is that while officially they control the whole continent, the invasion just happened a few months ago, so most of they don't have a firm grasp on most of the regions. And the player is the commander, the assigned commander of the resistance. There was a shadow council formed, and they chose the player as the leader of this resistance. So that's the reason why most region will start with a pretty high loyalty to the cause, but the player will probably steadily lose that in the beginning, as the enemy has really overwhelming force. Basically, the idea is that the player needs to find some way to slow down the enemy progress just enough so that he or she can catch up to it.
I see. So what are these little tokens over here with troops?
Yes,
and little bubbles?
those are the armies of the enemy. Now in this demo, all of them are placed on a region, and you can basically choose one of them to sabotage, and that will take you to the combat part of the game. In the not the demo, but officially, the basic idea is that every month these armies will do one mission. These missions type can be different kind of things. That's where the enemy AI comes in. For example, this army is doing a crackdown. As you can see, there is some flavor text, but basically that means that they are attacking the loyalty of that region. So if you don't sabotage it, that region's loyalty will go down. There are multiple mission types the enemy can do, as there are tax collections, there are crackdowns, and the last one I think is going to do some that was doing tax collection as well. There are some stealing of people as well, but it seems like now the AI doesn't want it to. This month they said no to stealing. But anyway, point being, every army has a mission, and if you don't sabotage it, it will bring some sort of a benefit to the enemy. It can be better research from their part, as the enemy has their own research as well. They have their own money, basically supply as well, so the tax collection increases their supply, and the player's job will be to try and think which one should be, which one is the most important one to sabotage, basically, and always have to wait in if the current they can afford to try and sabotage the specific army.
can a player sabotage all of it? Like, can you do everything, or do you have to specifically think of, okay, this turn I'm gonna have to do this here and have to kind of
you
weigh
can
what the lesser evil is, so to say? Because I think every action of the enemy is gonna be bad, and you have to like decide which is the baddest and which is the less baddest.
in the game they will happen in randomly in the month. So at the start of the month, every army starts at the base, and they will randomly do it at some point of the month. So the player will have the ability to do all of it, but there's a big difference between the armies. That's what these floating orb represent. Those are. The more they have is basically the more dangerous they are. If you take a bit of a closer look, the composition of it's not exactly in a good position, but if you take the composition of the armies, you can see the enemies you will face in the tactical part of the game.
I see. So over here they have some peasants, let's call them peasant, like normal foot soldiers.
Yeah.
Or we have some proper knights, and I would see here some sort of berserker horns.
There's a dwarf there, but sadly it got obstructed behind the hills.
They're dwarfs.
That's one of the things that the different invasion forces are going to be we can say the standard fantasy races, which were already enslaved by these beings. Humans are just basically their next target.
I see. So did they lore-wise exist in the world already, or did they come with the invasion, like the other fantasy races?
They came with the invasion, and that's kind of the part of the lore to go more into the details of it. But the basic idea is that these fantasy races were already enslaved. So every race had their own realm, they got invaded, and they lost their continent.
And now they're in the human realm to take over you.
Yes, and now it's the humans' turn. Yes.
I see. Are we allowed to kick pointy ears?
Yep. There will be pointy ears at some point as well.
Yes!
In the demo, the hardest enemy is the dwarf.
Chad asks, how much of the enemy movement, action, resources, research will be as a player aware of? Do you see anything happen? Will you need to, I don't know, hire spies to kind of read the movement of what's going on?
There won't be any spies, but the placement of your bases, because that's the other point these regions will have, that you can you will going to have to build bases on these cities, and that means we will have multiple bases. Now we just have this bottom, the build spy network, that just gives you a cute flag. So that's not in the demo, but that was going to be expanded, and you are going to have some base building in these cities, and the mission's difficulty, more specifically how many enemy there will be on a mission, will depend on the level of intel you have on the specific army. So yes, there will be some intel gathering, but that's going to affect the difficulty of the mission itself. So if I'm just gonna tell an example. If the region they are doing the mission has a high loyalty to the resistance, your intel will be better. If you have a base in the region, your intel will be better. So there are things that you can do to make certain missions easier.
Okay, so there's some modifiers at place where, depending on if they're in a area that you control or not, and if you have any other, as you said, bases, resources to push that modifier. Well, I'm eager now. You just hyped me up for Slaves of Magic like crazy, and I would like to see.
But I guess that's my job, isn't it?
How it plays out. Let's organize the team. Seeing how team members here already, I'm a huge fan to introduce the viewers into the game. Can I rename people? Can I give them names of chat, for example? Or will they maybe even be a Twitch integration where chat can automatically be picked up by the game, and every new recruit that you get will have names from chat and stuff like that?
Sure, you can rename the people that's actually working right now. If you really want to, you can rename the people. Basically, we will the profile icons which you can see here are placeholders. There will be a proper face generator. Basically, we just quickly throw in a few placeholder pictures there. So there will be a character generator, and there will be what's it called in the XCOM 2? There is a character generator which you can pre-generate characters, which then will be used. I don't remember the exact term the XCOM 2 is using for that, but anyway, we will have something like that, so you will be able to feed a list of characters to it, and tell the game to use that list. Twitch integration is something that I will have to look into.
Yeah, it's just a thought.
Might happen. I don't. Depends on how much interest it is about it, but we will definitely have this pre-generate, that you can pre-generate characters for your campaign. So that part will be definitely
That's
there.
amazing. So we have your different 3 classes, what I can see. We have these light builds. We have a 2-hander. We have shield and mace. Do they have different skills based on a class, or based on what equipment you give them?
If you click on equip in whatever, doesn't matter. Yep. Now.
Ooh, that looks brutal.
The thing, that answers your question. That yes, there are skills. Now we are using a classless system. We just have attributes. Well, okay. I see you really like the traits of the.
I was grinning. I mean, we're not on camera right now, but I was already laughing. Otarg is apparently frail.
Yes, characters have traits as well, which basically shows the differences of the characters. So yes, basically, instead of jobs, I mean classes, we have attributes, which functions as a collection of skills, plus they have a passive effect. So for example, this girl here has shield wielding and axe wielding learned, and she's proficient on it. That just basically means that we have different kind of levels of how proficient you are in that given attribute, and the skills which belong to the certain attributes get stronger if you are better with said attribute. So that means you can freely mix and match these attributes to create unique soldiers.
I see. Bear and axe wielding. I see. So you kind of have to have an eye out what kind of traits they have, and then kind of sail on that direction, as in.
Yes. Yeah. Basically, yes. And the job, which you can see, like for example, this girl is a berserker. That is basically just a custom way to save the equipment and skill of a person. So if you have a different character and you want you have an idea of like, okay, there's a berserker, that's the equipment we are using, that's the skills it's using, you can easily just click, okay, you are a berserker, and the game automatically equip the unit with the proper skills and equipment. So those are basically custom-made classes, but for the player to manage to make it easier to manage the units themselves.
Makes sense. So I see here also the influence of Xbox. I guess this is our module that will fly us into the mission on Xbox.
Yes,
on XCOM, you have the plane. Here it will be, I guess, magical teleportation. That's like. Bzz, bzz.
Yep, that's one of the greatest assets of the Resistance, that they managed to stall one of the enemy teleporters.
So you will be our tutorial here. We have the planning phase. Is that where I drop down?
Yep, that's where you're dropping down, but before that you can scry 2 times. That basically means that you will click in some position and it will reveal that part of the map. Now the enemies are already on the map. And actually you do see one of enemies.
Over here.
Yeah, there. The counter on the left top side shows how many enemies you see. Yeah, and if you click on it, it will actually go into to show the enemies that themselves, cycles through the enemies.
Looks like I'm psycho.
Yep. So basically, you can teleport your unit wherever. So you can teleport it where you see because of the scrying, or you can even put them in the fog of war if you want to. Of course, that might mean you are sitting on the enemy, teleporting it inside the enemies, but it's up to you. But the basic idea is that enemies in the game are scattered at the map at the start. And you have to use the element of surprise while they are scattered to gain the upper hand.
Oh, I see. So you kind of give a little bit of a scout's ball that you'd get with that magic, and then you try in the first turn to take out as many as possible before it gets serious.
Yeah, because you can have local numerical superiority thanks to this teleporting in, and they are not expecting it. But if you try to turtle up, usually that just means you are giving them time to gather together, and then they will overwhelm by sheer numbers if you let them.
I see. That's a little bit unfortunate here that I have so little view. But
yeah, one thing, if you want to put down a unit, facing is important as well. But that's the reason why you need to click once to place it, and then you can define the direction.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Now I got it.
Now it's down.
Now we got it. So we're
So
gonna...
one important point is that the enemy will, the AI will be aware of your unit's position where they arrived. So this is a big change from the new XComs, that there are no pods activation or stuff like that. All unit is activated at the start of the game.
I see. So, well, with that little bit what I see, I'm deciding to start over here. Let's give it a go.
Yeah, this is the longest tutorial, but I'll give you the gist of it. Basically, this is the biggest point of this guide is how the turn order is decided. I don't know if have you ever played like BattleTech?
Yeah.
Basically that. Just the basic idea is that there is the one, well, there is a big turn, and there are phases of that turn. Every character, depending on their initiative value, has will be chosen in this phase. So, like now, the starting phase will be 4. So every character with an initiative of 4 can activate.
Ah, I see.
So it is. So the basic idea is that every character can only act on the phase they are their initiative number decides. That's the important part, and if the enemy has the same initiative, that means that you will go one by one. So you going to activate one, then the enemy going to activate one, then you are going to activate one, then the enemy going to activate one.
I hear you. And depending on how much they glow, is where you know who will be next and such and that.
Yes, the characters which glow with...
Oh, there's attack opportunity.
There is attack of opportunities, so you can freely move away from the units, but that will happen as you can see. Yeah, if you keep it, you will see a bit of...
First is gone.
Yeah. It seems like some reason the corpse disappeared as well. Yeah, that's... Sometimes the corpse disappear.
That's okay. Well, I guess Zergling did not survive long.
Yeah, well, the barbarian is tend to be very fast, but very fragile as well.
I see, I see. So he's up next. Oh, there I see.
If you don't want to activate, you can wait as well. That means that every unit in the third phase, in this example, will lose one initiative and go to the second phase. So everyone, but you will not lose your turn.
I hear you.
Just you let others move sooner if you want it.
Understood. Well, let's move through. Surprise! Nobody here.
Oh, and by the way, just the objective of the mission, maybe it's a good idea to just briefly mention it, that this is just a distraction mission, so it's very easy. You just have to kill stuff. If you killed enough stuff, you can teleport back home.
Oh, I see.
And your progress, you can see your progress of that in the left up corner.
Oh, I see. So, there we go. I would suggest that the current character that you have available, maybe put this one up here next to the passport and make it a little bit more popping out of this character you have accessed right now. Just as an idea. Destroy armor, power attack, +2 damage.
Yeah, the basic idea that every character has 2 actions. And most action ends its turn, but not every. So you can combine some skills. But that's very reminiscent of modern XCOM in that regard.
I hear ya. Okay, there's nobody here. Guard the back. Shield up. There we go. Nicely blocked. Beautiful.
Cat can see that it can happen that you are sitting on someone's face and miss.
Very good. I see they have some blue blood on them.
Yes, they are actually called redeemed. The bit of a lore behind them is that they are being converted in some way. They are actually people who did not agree with the church's rule, and some way they got redeemed. The resistance doesn't exactly know how. And these people who were troublemakers before suddenly became the most devout believers, and they are doing some law enforcements for the church.
Another one
Oh yeah,
bites the dust.
those purple circles are incoming reinforcements. You have a 1 turn warning of where the enemy will arrive.
Well, let's surprise them. I hope they're not dropping and attacking right away.
They can. It depends on who's faster in the initiative order.
Makes sense.
One thing that is again different from the new XComs is that I doesn't want it to have a hard time limit. But there is a sort of time limit in that regard, that the longer it takes, you'll take the longer the frequency of the reinforcements will increase, and their numbers as well. So the longer it takes to finish the mission, the more enemies will come and overwhelm the player.
You little bastard. Also, I saw him doing some necromantic shenanigans.
Yeah. Sadly, the priest is capable of reviving the dead. And maybe a bit of a spoiler, but it can revive your own people as well.
Ah!
So watch out for that.
That's pure evil. So is there diagonal attack or just up
there's
front?
no diagonal attack, no.
Okay. Read my mind.
I saw that you really wanted that, but actually the swordman can. Because that one has a special skill called cleave sweep, and that's an AOE attack around him, and that actually can reach
Around him.
diagonally.
Attacks every tile in front and to the side of the user, including diagonal.
Yeah, so that's like a half circle. But if you click on it, you can check the. Yeah, that's the other thing is that has friendly fire on.
Oh, okay. Let's better not do that. Let's see. Let's just do a normal basic attack. Nice. Good.
Yep, but the priest is going to keep you busy if you let him.
We're on it. We're on it. Teleport home.
Oh, you are already going.
Oh, I thought
You
it's
decided
like
that that's enough for him.
I thought it's like calling in reinforcements or something. No, like you know, dropping it down like an exit zone instead of him.
No, it's every character can basically decide for themselves to go home. So that can easily happen. Oh yeah, you can actually do the. Yeah, the cleave. The cleave one was the. Yeah, the problem is with the feint that it does take one action, so that can only be used if you have not moved.
So let's give him.
Yeah, you can.
Last big swing.
Yep.
I love that they're remaining on the grounds.
Yep. And that's basically you. As I see, you have completed the objective, so you can safely teleport home now.
Good. Well, Tarek asks in chat, is there something like attack of opportunity instead of Overwatch or suppress or such feature, or would it be irrelevant in the system?
Basically, passing works as a sort of Overwatch because you can wait out the enemy movement, but there is no Overwatch equivalent of in the game.
Let's see. Then, yeah, we just saw that there's friendly AoE. Can you play around with the AoE cleave that you're like aiming at the corner of something and then he's kind of only swinging towards that direction?
Yes,
like
you have every character can attack 3 directions. So basically they can't attack the back, but otherwise they can freely choose the direction, and that is the same for cleave as well. So yes, you can play around and play around this.
I see. Good. I would say we hop and try the hardest difficulty.
Let's try it. I don't think you can do it with the custom with the pre-made team, but
you have to like work on them.
You can basically create a whole custom team as well. But it might be a good idea just to try it out, and you might have some idea of how you want to change the team now.
Okay, let's give it a try. Do you mean try it out the mission or try out?
If I'm wrong, you will be cruising through this mission. So
Oh, I don't think so. Oh my god, I'm terrified.
Basically, in this mission, the characters are a lot more heavily equipped, mostly heavy armor, so they will be a lot tougher to take down.
What does that one mean? Does it mean they have one life?
No, that's the initiative. That's every character's initiative.
Okay, so first
So
it's
because
4,
of the
then 3, then
heavy
2.
armor. Sorry.
So first it's 4, then 3, then 2, then 1.
Yes.
Oh.
So basically, most of your guy will attack before them,
So let's
and
see.
that's the basic idea of that. Every defensive upgrade, shields and armor will reduce your initiative. So initiative is basically a kind of. Do you want to protection, or do you want to come sooner in the turn?
I hear you. Ganging up on them.
That's a good idea. The dwarf will be a very tough opponent to crack. You might want to have some guys with maces against it, as the mace guys have crack armor or destroy armor, which will
Oh, yeah, that's
reduce.
true. This looks like the Illuminati will appear around him and chop him to bits. It's very terrifying. So let's start mission. We have read about that already. So first up is 4. Okay, I start to understand that. We have over here the Onslaught. Barbaric dual wield melee attack with both weapons with 15 attack, then receive minus 15 attack, then receive minus 22 defense until the start. Or is it
So basically,
15?
it's a double shot equivalent. Just it's going to give you a defense debuff for a round.
Would it be good to how often can I pass a turn with somebody?
You can pass till 0. At 0, you have to activate the characters, but you can basically go down to 0.
So waiting until 2 that he has the armor down and then go on onslaught might be a good idea.
Yeah, makes sense.
Good, let's pass. Now we are on 3.
Actually, yeah, again, yeah.
Let's see. They have, I think, some sort of shield hook. That enemy shield reducing.
Yeah, and you should be able to use it, but you can't. Okay, that's a good idea to check why. But yeah. Sadly, the normal idea would be that you can shield hook. I will check after the stream of why you can't. But the other skill would be still useful, because the execution strike the X-Men will have extra damage the lower the enemy health is. So if you manage to do some damage on the dwarf, then they can really hammer it. Sadly, that was a miss, but such is life. One other thing is, that guy can use a stance, the aggressive stance, which further increases its attack. Yeah.
Blocked it.
Yeah, but it was close. It was close. One other interesting thing or tidbit is that the critical hit is calculated a little bit differently. Uh, Basically, you will have a critical hit if your hit was over 15%.
Oh, interesting. There we go.
Right?
Dorothy. Little Dorothy.
One big enemy has been defeated. These guys have armor as well, not as much as the dwarf. Oh, by the way, you can click on any character with the right mouse button,
there
and
we
it
go.
will show the stats of that character. So you can actually check out all the different stats that it has, and the skills it has. So you can
I see.
get some. Oh well,
Oh!
you don't really have much luck with the misses.
It just one-shotted.
Yep.
So his life is still full. Aggressive stance.
Yeah, the aggressive stance makes sense if you can turn it on, as that's basically something that happens. It's just a toggle, and it increases your attack chance and reduces your defense, basically. Yeah, that guy, the barbarian, is very strong but very fragile. But if you play your cards right and keep him alive and flank enemies, you can really take on these stronger ones as well.
Another one bites the dust. Oh my goodness.
But there's two, two others who did not take kindly that that you killed their brother.
It definitely looks like that. Oh, you son of a gun.
Well, you can still kill him, so.
And he still stays alive? Oi.
Yep. So that doesn't mean that you have a free pass.
That means bye-bye, Berserker. Gonna make a last man standing in here. Bring it! Oh. Oh, the Berserker still can do something.
Yeah. Well, another thing is that, as you can see in the Berserker case, the skills are using stamina.
Yeah.
And the Berserker is actually run out of that. Stamina is a resource that is not regenerating on its own, but you can use rest to skip a turn to regain half of your stamina. But basically stamina is going to be the charges which you can use on your skills.
Okay. You do a rest. Let's try that out. Oh, he's still alive.
Yep. But he did receive a crit, so barely.
Oh, beautiful.
Very good.
So is there a way to directly turn around? Okay,
Yeah,
just clicking
you
on the same
can.
position.
Yeah, you can basically click on your own position.
Okay. Then we have you coming over here. He's pretty low, so give him a killing blow. And we did it!
Ah, you did it.
Does it take a turn to teleport away?
Yeah, it does take a turn, so it will have a smack before he will leave the area. But because yes, the teleportation itself only happens at the end of the big round. So after everyone has moved and did their stuff.
Dodged him.
But he managed to get away.
And even the Berserker survived.
Yep.
Hey.
You proved me wrong. It can be done with the default team as well.
Oh, don't get me for granted. Don't get me for granted. I'm used to playing a lot of tactical RPGs, so it's definitely fun. I like the vibe. I like how this plays. What I would love to see is a variety in terms of when I don't know they attack, that they have different positions how they fall at the body, so that it's not everybody lies in the same position. Maybe if you do a crit, that there's like an arm falling off, or depending on the weapon, there's different finisher-like things happening. And also maybe depending on the position, if you're like front or from the back, and have there some visual stance going on. But I love it. And I will keep track of Slaves of Magic, and can't wait to dive deeper into this and send out my troops and learn not to lose 2 people in a mission.
Well, one thing is that we do want to make it a little bit more casualty heavy than the older XComs, as basically, as you can see, that the skills themselves are actually not learned by the units, but by the resistance. And you can freely mix and match which skills units are using. So you will have a lot easier time to replenish casualties, because a lower level unit will basically will be worse at like the sword fighting attribute, but he will still be able to use every skill. So if you just not as proficiently. Replacing units will be a bit more easier, as to counteract the fact that we do want this to be a bit more casualty heavy game than the newer XComs.
Totally
I think that's a bit of an expectation of the melee combat as well. I think.
Who knows? Maybe we gotta get Slaves of Magic Longworm on that goes in crazy and alters and tweaks, and there's some crazy stuff that the lads did for their game. But
I won't oppose anything like that.
But I like the art style. The Session has a little bit of a, I would not say retro, but has a distinct look. I like that. I like the setting. Definitely am a huge close-up content fighter fan when it's hand-to-hand combat. I have here my fighting shield and some other stuff from my previous time as a medieval fighter. And also the story part is intriguing for me, that there's some magical being coming into our world and try to enslave us, and they have went into other worlds themselves to enslave them. Who knows? Maybe it has potential for a great story. It has potential for expansions. Maybe in the DLC you go into the Elven lands and kick the ass of High Prince, I don't know what, pointy ears. And
if there is interest, I'm sure that we will continue to work on it.
And overall, it felt solid. It felt solid already in its state as it is. Of course, some polishing, bug fixing, tweaks, and whatnot.
Sure.
But
as again, this is basically just an alpha combat demo. So yes, this is very much not the final product, but something close to the close to it, just with a lot more content and polish, of course. So
it sounds amazing. Sounds amazing. Balázs, köszönöm szépen for hanging out with us and having a look at Slaves of Magic and gives us access to that. In the comments down below, there is the Steam link towards this. If you're gonna see this, there might be a good chance that the demo will be still available. Will you leave the demo?
Yeah, we will let the demo be live from now. So yes, the demo will be available through the Tacticum, but it will remain live after it as well.
There you go. So you're no under time pressure. Go check it out. Wishlist the game. That helps always out indie developers to bring out the word about the game. And thanks a lot for hanging out with us. Do you have any last words to the dear viewers out there, or the ones who are gonna watch the video later?
Yeah, well, firstly, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here and trying out the game in these late hours as well. And for the viewers, if you are interested, you can wishlist the game and follow the Steam page, because we are doing every month a devlog. Mostly every month. I'm writing a devlog and updating you with the every new information that happened in the development time, so you can keep in touch. And if you are looking for smaller bits of information, you can follow our Twitter account. And we just created a Discord channel as well. After this, I will create an announcement of it as well. So you can come and talk to us if you want as well.
I'll come and annoy the fuck out of you. I'm just kidding. But I'll definitely join in and give my feedback to it. Also, if you have any, I don't know, stuff to test around and play around, definitely don't hesitate to reach out and shoot a message. Well,
we will definitely have stuff to test out later on. So,
Balázs, thank you kindly for hanging out with us on this Dev Talk. This was Slaves of Magic, everyone. It was amazing. Thank you kindly for watching.